Welcome back, Bay fans. Today we are back in Norwich VR room with Norfolk Bladers for their next ranked tournament, Strike. And as you can see, Stadium 1 is being projected onto the main wall of the venue. This will come full circle later, but for now, just sit back, enjoy, and watch the games that I played. To start off round 1, it is me versus Lot of Toast. I've been told Lot of Toast is an amazing blader. He leads with his Era Pegasus and I lead with Bullet Griffin on stock. We get ready and there we go. Bullet Griffin has yet to separate even though it's getting belted really hard by Era Pegasus attacks, and it actually dodges a load of extreme dashes and is able to tank a really good attack, and there it is, the duplication, and Era Pegasus is brought down to a spin finish. Next up is my ace Meteor Dragoon 760 level versus a Shark Scale 960 ball or free ball. We get into position and wait for the countdown, and we are off, and Meteor Dragoon is able to get a quick pocket finish to make it 3-0. Up next it is Drawn Strike versus a Wizard Rod on 160 Hexa. Honestly, I was not looking forward to this matchup. We get into position and we are off. I do a stall launch with Drawn Strike, trying to save some stamina. I hit the rail and I get the burst finish. I have won for the score of 5-0, and it was an overall great game. Next up, it is myself versus Atmosphere RQL, a fellow Baytuber. We show our combos. I am using Bullet Griffin stock and he's using Wizard Rod on Rubber SL. We both launch. Rubber SL is able to somehow stall. Wizard Rod winds up. I split due to Bullet Griffin's ability, and we just keep going round, and Bullet Griffin sends itself into the extreme pocket. For the next round, it is my Meteor Dragoon versus Shark Scale 150 Low Orb. We get into position. We are about to launch, and we launch, and my arm was in the way, but Shark Scale got the KO. I've lost 5-0. For the next game, it is me versus Elder Gold. Me and him have actually clashed, I believe, only once, but hopefully I can get the win. I show off my base, still running the same 3 from the past 2 games, and I see his Cobalt, Rod, and Shark. This will be a toughie, but a goodie. For our first base, it is my Bullet Griffin versus his Cobalt Dragoon 560 level. I actually have not seen a normal Cobalt on level before. We launch and I'm able to deflect the attack and I get the pocket finish. Next up is my Meteor Dragoon versus Wizard Rod 160 Hexa. Yay. We get into position and we launch and I am instantly knocked out, but turns out it was actually a snipe, so we redo that round. Getting back into position, we launch at high power. My Meteor Dragoon gets in a really good Dragonic break attack and keeps trying to find a weakness in the Rod's armor, but is not prevailing as well as I would have hoped. My Meteor Dragoon is very worn down, which is making it easier for me to absorb power, but because of Wizard Rod being on 160 Hexa, it is a tank, and my Meteor Dragoon goes down to a spin finish. Up next is my Drawn Strike versus a Shark Scale on 960 free ball. Both of us are running a 960 Ratchet. It will be interesting. We launch. I tried to do a stall launch again. Drawn Strike misses all of its attacks, wasting all of its stamina. I thought the 960 would actually be a help trying to improve stamina, but clearly it has not been effective, and I go down to a spin finish again. After the reshuffle, I predict that he will use Wizard Rod, so I go with Bullet Griffin to try do some pincer movements and hopefully get a sneaky KO. We get our launchers ready, and there they go. Wizard Rod is circling my Bullet Griffin. For some reason, I find Bullet Griffin on stock to be the best combination. I do a little bit of a jazz hands there. Bullet Griffin has already split, and unfortunately, the recoil from the bullet hitting Wizard Rod was enough to send Griffin into the pocket, and I have lost 4-2. Up next, I am up against Logs. I've done a quick change to my deck, replacing Bullet Griffin with Wizard Rod and replacing Drawn Strike with Phoenix Wing. And you've just seen Log's deck, so let's get into the first round. Up first is my Wizard Rod versus an Aero Pegasus 963 ball. I've actually not seen that many people like stock Aero Pegasus for the blade since it's a custom bay. There are our launches. I tried to do a stool launch, but I couldn't get it, and my Wizard Rod is actually acting very aggressive, which can be very dangerous due to how Hexa can over accelerate due to it having a higher gear count than a bit like flat or regular ball, but I get the spin finish, making it 1-0. Up next is my Meteor Dragoon versus a Wizard Rod 160 Rush. If you're not familiar with this combo, it is one of the random prize boosters or the Hasbro release, which they don't do random boosters. But Meteor Dragoon is able to meet Wizard Rod on the rail, but Wizard Rod was able to send my Meteor Dragoon into the pocket, making it 2-1. Up next is my Phoenix Wing versus Logs' Shark Scale. Shark Scale has always been an amazing attack type, but I still believe Phoenix is the superior due to how it's an all-time classic and I just like the colors. But I'm able to get an extreme with the wind-up due to my rush bit, saving stamina. I have won my second game of the day. Up next it is me versus my buddy from Lowestoft, Sophie. I'm using Wizard Rod 160 Hexa versus their Tyranno Beat combo. I believe 770 Rush. I didn't have a good chance to look. We get into position and there we go with our launches. I nearly get extremes, but I nearly counter with an extreme. Both are just going back and forth. It is a power struggle. Tyranno Beat is an exceptional attack type, but I get the spin finish. Next up is her Drone Strike versus my Meteor Dragoon. I am not looking forward to this one. I wasn't looking forward to this one. We both launch, and as soon as I make contact, Drone Strike is able to deliver a powerful KO, and it is now 2-1. Next up is Clock Mirage versus my Phoenix Wing. Clock Mirage being famous for being the only bay that you can only use middle height ratchets on. We're in position and there's the launch. We've already made contact. I try stall, I hit the rail, I give chase and burst Clock Mirage. Sophie said the clock would outdo everything by time, but I told her the Phoenix was forever, and I was right. Up next is her, I dropped my Phoenix, but up next is my Phoenix Wing versus her Drone Strike. I am terrified. We launch and Drone Strike gets the extreme due to how if you send a bait out of the arena through the top, it counts as an extreme, and I've lost. Remember at the beginning of the video when I said the arena being projected onto the wall would come full circle? Well, it has. For my final round of the Swiss bracket in the tournament, I was placed in Stadium 1 against HB, and so I have put my phone to face the wall instead of over the arena because I don't know why, I just wanted to. It seemed like a cool idea at the time. In addition, I have gone back to the original deck I started this tournament with, but for Drone Strike, I replaced 960 Rush with 360 Rush to help make the bigger blades be as most effective as possible. We have just showcased our decks and we are going to start the first round now with Bullet Griffin versus Hover Wyvern on 960 Rush. We get into position, I make sure Bullet Griffin is on right perfectly, and we launch. I unfortunately split on launch, and I get KO'd very quickly. I am down 2-0. Up next is my Meteor Dragoon versus HB's Shark Scale. Shark Scale is a very popular choice, so hopefully I don't have too much trouble, and we're off. Shark Scale tries to hide, but an extreme dash from Meteor knocks it out of the corner. I nearly go into the pocket, but thankfully my Meteor Dragoon held on. Both Meteor Dragoon and Shark Scale are both very popular choices, Shark Scale being mainly more popular due to how it's built, but both bays are now in a power struggle and Meteor Dragoon is struggling to find power to absorb from Shark Scale and goes down to a spin finish. Next up, Drone Strike versus Aero Pegasus. I haven't been up against that many Aero Pegasuses today, only in practice, and this might be one of the only that I faced in the Swiss bracket, but Drone Strike quickly secures the burst proving to everyone why it is an attacking king. And I have now got 2 points in this game. For the next round, I say go for broke and use Grand Strike versus HB's Hover Wyvern. We're both on rush, so it's going to be attack versus attack. We both launch. I sort of do a stall, hit him out of the corner, go for the extreme dash. We are both clashing majorly, and we are both losing stamina, but I'm losing stamina a lot faster, and Grand Strike is about to run out of spin. There it is, the spin finish. Looking back on how well I done terrible. I won only 2 out of my 6 games. And even when I lost, I still gained only 2 points, maybe 3 at most. So I'm going to take a short time to figure out what went wrong. And I'm going to do some more combo testing and all that sort of stuff. I came 38th out of 46, which is honestly one of my worst runs. There have been worse, but this has to be at least one of them. I know I sound like I'm putting on like a facade or I'm lying, but honestly, I felt really, really disappointed in myself for how yesterday went. So I'm going to do some combo testing, a lot more bloody combo testing, and come back with another tournament video, either with Norfolk Bladers or somewhere else soon. Until then, I have been Carmen TV, Trixie TV. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, join my Discord server. I know I'm plugging myself, but it's the end of the video. You're allowed to do that, okay? I hope you all enjoyed this video. Honestly, looking back, I am proud that I burst a wizard rod that was on Hexa. But until then, everyone, I hope you have a good rest of your day.